hope you're good, keeping it safe. I hope at the end of this week that you surely know who killed Goliath. Interesting banter this has been. But if you turn to our Bibles in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 17, we'll get the answer. And it's always what we've always known. It's David. Today I want us to talk about not who killed Goliath, but how did he kill Goliath? 1 Samuel chapter 17 opens up with the scene. It says the scene on what was going on in Israel. King Saul was out with his armies facing the Philistine army. And the Philistines had this big, strong soldier called Goliath. And David was left home by virtue of being the last born. He was still young. And he was taking care of his father's sheep. So one day his father was like, David, please come and take this food, take to your brothers in the battlefield, see how they are faring, and come and tell me. Dude, who does that? I mean, they are fighting, and you want David to take them packed lunch? Well, that's a story for another day. But obedient David did. And when he went to the battlefield, he saw the armies flexing for each other. But the Israelites were on the receiving end, because the Philistines were boasting with Goliath. Goliath was there big boasting, saying, which of you Israelites will come and face me? You say you believe in the living God. Come, I show you who you are. And they were all cowering there. Nobody was coming up to fight. King Saul was hiding himself in the tent. And actually, he even gave out a prize. Can you imagine the army being given a prize to fight? Being told, whoever kills Goliath, I'm going to give him riches, I'm going to give him my daughter. Enter David. When David found this impasse, he became mad. He was like, who are these people? Who do they think they're joking with? Don't they know that we're the armies of the living God? When the people heard him, they were like, dude, who are you talking like this? And then his bigger brother Eliab was there and looks at David and said, David, I know you have an evil heart. You just came to see the fight. You came to see us being beaten. You know, you found these people like back in school, or even you go to the street when two people start fighting. A crowd passes by, they just want to watch, and some even want to buy popcorn and just to watch. Those are the kind of people Eliab is referring to, people with evil hearts. They rejoice at seeing people fighting. But David was not one of them. He was grieved in his heart that his armies, his people could be ridiculed like this. Then he went to Saul and said, Saul, I want to fight the giant. Saul looked at him and told him, look at you. You are a youth. Look at Goliath. First of all, he's bigger than you. Secondly, he's been fighting since he was a youth like you till now, and is much older than you. Then David insisted and said, no, I'm going to fight. You don't know me. I take care of my sheep. I fought a lion and I killed it. I fought a bear and I killed it. Even Goliath, I'm going to kill him. He was so persuasive that King Saul agreed and let him fight. He actually even gave him his own armor. Can you imagine a whole king giving you his armor to go and fight on his behalf? And guess what happened? The armor couldn't fit on David. It was too heavy for him. So what did David do? David threw the armor aside. He said, you know what? I'm not good with this armor. I'm good with my sling and my stones. And Goliath looked at him and he said, am I a dog that you come for me with a stone? And guess what? Before he finished that sentence, he was down dead. So how did David manage this feat? And I'll give you these 3 simple steps that made him kill the giant, slay the giant. 1, he studied well. When you're growing up back then in Israel, you are given the history of how Israel was a nation of God. You are taught about the covenants of God. You are taught about how God spoke to Abraham, promising land. You are taught about Joseph and captivity and how God brought the people from captivity to the present land where they were. So David must have known how God adopted him, how they were precious in God's sight, how their armies had conquered all along. But that wasn't enough. When it came to second step, he believed well. He not only took what he studied, but he believed it in his heart.
And there's a difference between believing and studying. And let me show you what this is, how it is. Let's go back to the Israelites army. They were in the field facing Goliath. They studied the same thing David must have studied over and over again. They knew God had brought them from Egypt. They knew God had parted the sea. They knew over and over God had fought for them in battle. But with this one battle with Goliath, the studying and belief were very far apart. And this is the difference that David brought to the field. He believed well. He knew God would take control. He knew God would win. And thirdly, he practiced well. Because when people looked down on him, when King Saul looked down on him, do you remember his answer? When King Saul told him, this is a giant you cannot slay, David told him, dude, I've been studying, I've believed well, and on top of that, I've been practicing well. When I was looking after my father's sheep, a bear came and I killed it. Another time a lion came and I killed it. And guess what? Even this Goliath giant, I'm going to kill him. The same God who made me kill the lion, the bear, is the same God who made me kill Goliath. So my brother, my sister, what giant is facing you? Which Goliath is before you? Are you ready for him? Do you want to slay him? Well, you've got to study well, you've got to believe well, and you've got to practice well. And remember, in practicing, you have to start with the small bear and the lion in your house, in your family, before you slay the giant